Okay, so we're gonna go through the Aruch Hashulchan. Last time we finished the Torah and the Shulchan Aruch. We're gonna go through the Aruch Hashulchan, and there's a lot to say on these simanim. So, without further ado, let's start the Aruch Hashulchan. It's pretty short, but there's a lot of very important ideas in here that we could glean very important information from. I'm reading Shabbos. Maran Shabbos says, "Shnei Malchi Asharis Malav L'Odem Ber Shabbos Veis HaKnesses L'Beiso Echad Toiv Ve'Echad Ra." Kishabol L'Beiso Mosan Er Dal Chashulchan Aruch Umotehu Mutzos Malach Toiv Hoimer Yehira Tzon Shia Til Shabbos Acheres Kachu Malach Ra Ino Amein Bal Korchel Fima Malach Ra Hoimer Yehira Tzon Shia Shabbos Acheres Kachu Malach Toiv Hoina Amein Bal Korchel. So we already saw that this Gemara was quoted in our learning that there are two angels that escort a person when he returns home from shul. One is good, one is bad. If everything is said, if everything is ready, the good angel will say it should be the will of Hashem that everything will be like this the next week, and the bad angel will have to answer Amen unwillingly. And if it's not said, so then it'll be vice versa. The bad malach will say Hiratzon should be like this next year. Fine. Lakach yazir ma'oidu l'sader shulchano v'aneirus yeh dolkois v'hamitos yeh mutzois u'mochanos liyeshiva. So therefore, we have to be very careful to order our tables and our neiros, that they should be lit, and the bed should be set u'mochanos liyeshiva, prepared for sitting. V'etzleinu hakiseos muchanos liyeshiva. By us, we prepare our chairs. So it's really both for us. It's number one that our chairs are in the right place. Now, I don't know about for other people, but for us, my kids like moving the chair around all the time. So those should try to be in the right place before. And the beds also, they should be set. That's something also to think about. It should be set not for ourselves. It's as if a very important guest would be coming to our house and we would host. New halacha. Sweep the house while it's still day. We're going to learn more about this in Mirza Hashem and Siman Reish Nun, because all these simanim are interconnected. We have Siman Reish Mem Beis, Siman Reish Nun, Siman Reish Samach, Siman Reish Samach Beis. All those simanim are really connected very nicely. So anyways, you sweep the house while it's still day. Begam tikun hashulchanois v'hamitois v'hakiseyois hakol muchan mevoijom. Everything, chairs, tables, beds, all this should be prepared while it's still day. V'hakaarois v'hakapois v'hasakinim yunakim umetzuchtzachim. Okay, another halacha: the bowls, the spoons, the knives. Interesting, it doesn't say forks. All the silverware, the plates should all be cleaned. It should all be shined. Kavod Shabbos kodesh. Sakin kol inyone abayis yifne kori akavish me'al kasolim v'hatikros l'kavod Shabbos. And also fix everything in your house. And as we already learned, the spider webs get rid of. V'hakol yaseh mevoy joim kedei. Everything should be fixed when it's still day, so that everything should be with order. Now, when we're talking about spider webs, we're going to see the shaila is going to come up. For sure, this is talking about a spider web that's in important real estate where people walk, etc. The question is, let's say it's spider webs in places that people really don't go to. Do those need to be cleaned as well? So we're going to see about that in Mitzvah Hashem.
We spoke about this Erev Pesach.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be a different reason. That would be for chametz. That would also be covered yontif. All this should be done before yontif as well, not just Shabbos. So, akopanim, these are the halachas, the extra halachas that the Aruch Hashulchan is pointing out, that everything should be set. It's not just limited to a table. It really extends to everything. Kol hashulchano shebabayis ye mutzoyim b'mapos b'mapos yel hashulchanos kol halayla v'kol hayoyim ad moitzi Shabbos. Wow, all of the tables in the house should be set with tablecloths, with a special tablecloth.
What's this one?
Mappa?
Mapos and the next one next to it.
The hamapos.
The mapos v'hama. Okay.
Yeah, and how do you get this thing down over here? Oh, there we go. Okay, get that thing up. Okay, so all the tables in the house should be set by mapos. They should be set with the tablecloth. This is talking about a special tablecloth for Shabbos. And the mapois, these tablecloths should be on the tables kol halayla v'kol hayom, the whole night, the whole day, ad Motzei Shabbos, until Motzei Shabbos. This is considered very disgusting. It's like a disgrace if the table is exposed, if it's going to be uncovered. Okay. Now, before we continue in this Aruch Hashulchan, let's actually take a look, because this is something that gets addressed before the time of the Aruch Hashulchan. Let's take a look at not the Mishnah Berurah, but the berachos. All right. Let's actually go out of order. We're going to come back to the Aruch Hashulchan. I know it's a kind of a little ADD, but that's what this generation likes anyways. Okay. Beis HaKnesses. Let's take a look at the berachos. Rabbi Yehuda Ashkenazi. V'yanashe k'dei imo belal Shabbos k'shehi mevareches oisoi v'soida mavor b'divrei harizal. One should kiss his mother's hand on Shabbos night when she's giving the bracha, and the secret of this is explained by the Arizal. So,
Twofold,
huh?
saying twofold is, surprising. I mean, usually the father gives the bracha.
Right now. We're going to spend a whole full session just on the bracha, giving brachos on Shabbos night. Because if we're not going to talk about it here, then where are we going to talk about it? The answer is on Parsha, in the Parsha with Ephraim and Menashe. Yeah, actually, I wonder, did we discuss it there? I wonder if we actually discussed it there. All right, I can look it up now, but I mean, I don't know. That would be the place to. It's already there, then we don't need to do it again. But this is where it would come from. Yeah, right over here. Okay, so we discussed it in Vayechi already in 2017. Tafshin Ayin Ches, because there's two 2017s, because the way that the English year worked, Vayechi fell out in 2017 twice, but this is the later one. So we discussed that really right before 2018, like literally right before. So so we already discussed that 40 minutes. So see that recording over there, mybablan.com on Vayechi for blessing children. No need to do it again. I actually looked. I said I remember I wrote a kuntres on that, and we should go through it again. And that was in the Dushay Torah, and then blessing children. It's right over here. This is what it looks like if you want to see my handwritten notes scanned into a computer before I started typing. So no reason to go through it, but this is typed up. This is what we did in a nutshell. So okay, so I thought we were going to spend the session on it. There was no reason to spend the session on it if we already did it. Let me get that out of there. Yeah, we did that, and then for some reason the scan didn't work. I had to make a second thing over here, but this is much shorter. That's very short. Okay, so I guess we don't need to spend a second session. Whoever's interested, see that recording about it. I mean, now that we're on it, one thing that I will mention about that is my minhag, based on a lot of sources that we quoted there. It's like a 40-minute recording you just saw, but that if you do it every single week, a lot of times it'll just be rushed. You don't have the right kavanah, so better to just do it sometimes during the year before starting Yom Tovim, for that reason. Okay.
What happens when all the kids are married out of the house?
So then there's two minhagim. Either you just don't do it because they're not there, or some still just they'll just say bracha even when they're not there. Yeah.
Not there yet, because
Yeah, I feel like the minhag is not to, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's take a look at Gimel though. Gimel Aruch Hashulchan, and this is what the Aruch Hashulchan is quoting. So let's see first in the berachos before Rashal. I think the Magen Avraham even quoted this, but we skipped this in the Magen Avraham. Rashal, Rishlomo Luya Haya Lo Shtei Mapos. He had two tablecloths, Al Hashulchan, on the table. Milvad Hal Yoina Sha'al Lechem. Aside from the tablecloth that was on the bread, he would have an additional two tablecloths. Why? Why two? Seems like one is more than enough. The answer is when you are shaking out, when you're cleaning the tablecloth, so it comes out that now the table will be exposed, and that's not going to be good. So therefore, in order that the table won't be uncovered, even for a few minutes when you're shaking out the tablecloth, the Rashal had the custom to have two tablecloths, which is a fascinating idea. And furthermore, Hamapa teluya ma'ala shulchan tefach, ukishaporso oisa oa. The tablecloth is spread on the table. A tefach, which means 3 inches. Ukishaporsa oisa oil. So now, when you're going to spread it, you're going to be making a tent, which is going to be a problem on Shabbos. Therefore, you would put the lower tablecloth there and leave it there always.
Where are you making a tent? Where are you making a tent?
Sorry. Hold on 1 minute. And then it would be considered like adding on a temporary tent, which would be permissible. What'd you say, David?
I don't understand how you make, if you spread the tablecloth, how are you making a tent?
When you're like putting it out,
But you're not, it's
before it's like down for like a few seconds, maybe it's like, or maybe the truth is
there's something underneath it. There's something underneath the. I actually asked the Shile about this. Someone in Brooklyn about sleeping on chairs putting a mattress on chairs. But I don't think there's an issue of putting that's like making an oho, and I don't know if there's an issue. How would there be an issue of making?
Look, if you want to argue on the Ber Hativ and the Mata Moshe, that's fine with me. But this is what the Ber Hativ said. The Mata Moshe, others also, they seem to say it's a problem. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert in the halachas of an oil on Shabbos. I'm not. But I do give myself credit. Whatever we learn, I really become an expert in that because that's how we learn it. We learn it the right way.
So based
But it seems like he said there was a problem, so we're gonna have to wait till we learn the halachas of oil. But it seems like he's saying the question is, what is the problem? It seems like when he's putting the tablecloth.
when you spread the tablecloth and there's no.
Because there's something underneath the tablecloth.
Yes, if there's no tablecloth underneath it, so then it's like you're making an oil. Like the tablecloth, when you put it on, it's considered some sort of a tent.
No, but the table is underneath the tablecloth, right?
So if you have a second tablecloth, that's what he's saying. If you have a second one under, it's considered you're adding on a temporary tent, and therefore will be permissible.
Plastic tablecloth on the table. Shabbos,
Yes.
no problem.
Yes,
But if there's no,
if there is no
The
tablecloth at
tablecloth
all,
might be an issue.
right, and then yes, exactly. So this is definitely something to consider. Let's see what the Aruch Hashulchan says about this line though. Before we, you know what, maybe we should actually just finish the Ber Hativs first. You know what? We'll go to the Aruch Hashulchan first. Let's see what the Aruch Hashulchan writes about this. Marshal, zoom that in a little bit. Marshal, hiniach al Hashulchan shachol shtei ma'apos levadim atar pusa alechem mefrish yikchu hamap shachol alel and our pesisen shul yizgal Hashulchan minutes in his passion called tefusas jo she ma'apos al Hashulchan kol yom Shabbos kol. Wow. So he's saying that the custom is to have tablecloths on the table 24/1, the whole Shabbos, the 25. So therefore you have it on the whole Shabbos. Okay, fine. So he's not saying much about that. He's bringing that Arizal, which we already saw. Okay, so let's go back to the Ber Hativ. Let's finish up those Ber Hativ actually. The Ber Hativ in Daled brings that the Arizal would have 4 garments that were white. All right, he would have his outer garment, his lower garment, the belt, and like his undershirt, which correspond to the 4-letter name of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei. Then the Ber Hativ quotes the Sefer Chasidim Al Yikach. What does he want you taking? You gotta come back to this. Al Yikach. Shur Sadaf. He doesn't want you taking Al Yikach Adam Yeled. Okay, so he doesn't want you taking a baby on Shabbos. It's gonna be right over here on the screen on the top right. Al Yikach Adam Yeled b'Shabbos. Don't take a baby on Shabbos until you put some sort of like a pillow by your area. Yeah, this is talking about taking a child and you're holding the child. So there should be some sort of Now, separation between you and the child. Don't let the child touch your clothing. And the reason is because it might get dirty. Then, yeah, so you have to know your child. If the child's wearing clothing and a diaper, so then for sure it's fine. That clothing is the separation, but you have to know. You have to know how common leaks are and, know your baby. Okay, so that's berachos. The end of the berachos Daled says that even an avel should change his clothing. I think we might have touched upon that slightly. And then the last berachos that we're going to see is at the end of Hay. Ein makablan Shabbos b'yoyim Kippur. You don't do Kabbalah Shabbos when Shabbos falls out on Yom Kippur. Kiyem Yom Kippur and Hashem Yisrael. He says Chiddush is knowing Hashem Yisrael on Yom Kippur. Which the truth is, we had a mental note after we learned Tachas Adela. We're going to learn some in Tafresh Chavdal because it's important to talk about there. We just never got to it, but we'll get there one day. We will. It's Hashem. We know there. But this is the idea over here. Someone told me something questionable. Another practice that no one else does. That Lubavitchers do a full Kabbalah Shabbos even when it falls on Yom Kippur, which is against the Shari Knesset Gidol. Yeah, even on Yom Kippur. So sorry on that. I'm pretty sure you could ask your local Chabad about that, but that's interesting over here. It seems like we're not supposed to. Okay.
Wait, they do a whole Kabbalah Shabbos?
That's what I heard. Yeah, but like I said,
why are we marketed? We're not marketed to wear anything white on Shabbos. Why don't we hold?
We're gonna come back to white.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna come back to white. Berachos, we're gonna come back to white. Berachos. Guarantee you won't have any questions by the time we're done with that topic. Be careful to have very nice clothing on Shabbos. This doesn't mean that you're gonna go to what's like the fancy clothing on Fifth Avenue, Louis Vuitton, Saks Fifth. What's the fancy store? The one with like the $10,000 clothing and all that stuff.
Armani?
I don't even know this stuff. I don't even know. Anyways, Armani, I don't know. For the women also, they have some stores there. Doesn't mean that you need all that clothing, all right? What this means is you have nicer clothing on Shabbos that you have during the week, right? Like the Rambam writes in Hilchos Deos, don't have clothing that's too fancy that makes you look like a prince, but you don't want to have clothing that makes you look like, you've been living in a cave for the last couple of years. You got to be in between. Be normal, right? That's what he says. The shaila becomes, it seems like you should have begadim na'im l'Shabbos. Let's say someone wants to wear their Shabbos clothing at a simcha. Is that okay? So we're going to learn about that in Mitzvah Hashem. Shelo yihiyeh mabushecha shel Shabbos k'mabushecha shel chol. The Gemara says, Shabbos Kuf Gimel, your clothing on Shabbos should not be like your clothing that you wear during the week. And it says in the Gemara, what's going on? Yom Kippur, there's no eating, drinking. Honor it with nice clothing. Beged Lovan. אבל לשונס בגודnim גם בשבת צריך לשונס במגדי חול. רק אין צריך בגודnim יקרים. Okay, so this is saying that's talking about you have clean clothing, nice clothing that you wear in Yom Kippur, white, but you got to change them on Shabbos also. Get out of your weekday clothing, get into your Shabbos clothing. Okay, you don't need very expensive clothing though, but it should be different. If it's impossible for a person to change his clothing due to financial reasons, or if he was stranded somewhere on Shabbos, he couldn't make it back on Shabbos. It says over there, like we learned, drape them down below. We already saw it in the Torah, 3 pshatim. This idea of lowering your clothing is only talking about their clothing. Okay, I'm happy someone changed it. By us, this doesn't apply. There's no such thing as lowering your clothing. All right, so everything that we learned in the first part, and the first time we learned this, that doesn't apply when it comes to clothing. That's why it's dangerous when people just listen to someone's just going to watch the video on the first part and then not go weiter. So then it's dangerous because you think that that's a halacha when it's not. Really, it's no practical difference unless you see a guy trying to lower his clothing in some way. Then the guy's like, what's going on? What's he doing? He's lowering his clothing. We don't do such a thing.
Some
Right.
sects of society do that, and you see their underpants.
Oh, that's something else. That's something else. That's another reason. But yeah. So that's the thing over there. Happens to have been, I saw the first part, someone gave a thumbs up to it.
To what?
To the first session that we had, the 10-minute on the tour.
Oh, wow.
When we
okay.
first did it, thumbs up, but I saw so far no one listened to the second part. So I hope that person makes it to the second part. So, because if he doesn't, then the thumbs up, it's very nice, but nice, you gotta keep going. All right. B'tol v'shem it's called v'gadim l'kavod Shabbos afilu chaluk. So you should change everything. Magen Avraham said even your undergarment. Okay, we already saw that, and you wear your clothing until after Avdallah.
We're gonna touch upon
Yeah.
wearing Shabbos clothes for the Simcha that I've mentioned.
Yes, we're going to touch upon that. 100%. 100%. V'gam hanashim nohagos lirchotz penayim v'yadeim belubos bigdei Shabbos. Okay, so here's going to be something that the Mishnah Berurah is also going to rant about towards the end of the siman. Women also, they have the custom, as we already learned, the halachas of showering and bathing in siman Reish Shamach, of course. So they also have that mitzvah to wash their face and hands. V'lubush bigdei Shabbos, to wear special Shabbos clothing. Keyword, kodem havakas haneros, before they light. All right. So that's something important. They should be ready to roll before they light, before they put on their before they light candles. Achizaru du'ula yifne hashemish, excuse me, yadliku neros. V'acher kach yurchsu v'yulbeshu bigdei Shabbos. They have to be careful because maybe the sun will have already set. They're gonna light, and they'll bathe after. They'll get on their clothing after. It's a problem. Especially in the winter. If they're not gonna listen and they're not gonna be ready in time, the husband himself should light. Kinoshim Dyson Kalus. Wow. So this is a rip of the Aruch Hashulchan, which it's funny because usually people who learn the Aruch Hashulchan, he's more of a lenient opinion, and usually says things that aren't so, I don't know, controversial a little. But over here, he's coming in and he's saying Nashim Dyson Kalos, all right, and they might not be able to differentiate between a hiddur mitzvah and an isser gomer, something which is a hiddur and something which is a full-fledged isser. V'dash is eshtakasher v'amah b'siv gimel. Sheyal b'shatzma big day Shabbos miyad achar shorach tzatma v'zeu kavod Shabbos l'chini l'yichud Shabbos alusam l'chaver Shabbos sheyal b'shatzma miyad. All right, we already know that Ramah about showering near the time of Shabbos. You can wear Shabbos clothing after. It's fine. So that's referring to if you are bathing at home, which we do. But if you're going to a bathhouse / mikvah, don't wait for the last minute, because then you could get into problem with the Chilul Shabbos. Moshe causes him in Reish Shamach, like we learned in Siman Reish Shamach, so Sif Vav. Maybe the Chilul Shabbos chas v'shalom. But hard time bazeh. This could come to a Chilul Shabbos. We saw this ran from the Aruch Hashulchan over there, and then we cross-reference over here this Ramah. And many people make this mistake. And then he says, and you should rebuke them and prevent them from the king cause of Mishnah Berurah. And that's what the Mishnah Berurah says. So for all those people who say that the Aruch Hashulchan didn't have a copy of the Mishnah Berurah in front of him, what's that? Because he quotes the Mishnah Berurah.
That's him. That's his.
I think so.
Edit?
I think so. I think he's also in the parentheses. Yeah. So came right after the Mishnah Berurah. Same time a little bit, but V'yalbish big day Shabbos v'yismach b'biyah Shabbos. You should be happy with your Shabbos clothing. Sorry, you should put on your Shabbos clothing and be happy when Shabbos comes. Like you're greeting a king and a chasam kal, like we already learned. Yisuf Gemara, like the Gemara says, Rabbi Chanina Ma'atif Akaya Panya de Malay Shabbos Amir Boy V'neitze Kar Shabbos Hamalka Rabbi Yanai Lavish Manin Malay Shabbos Amir Boy Kal Boy Chala. You can find in the Gemara, Rabbi Chanina would wrap himself and wait Erev Shabbos and say, "Come in Shabbos." He would prepare to. He said, let's come and let's go out to greet the Shabbos queen, Rabbi Yanai. Lavish Manei the Malay Shabbos. He would wear Shabbos clothing Erev Shabbos, and he would say, "Boy Kala v'achshav." And nowadays we don't really do that. What we do instead is we say different mizmorim and include in that as lecha dodi bechruza achron in the last stanza, I think it's called. We stand and then we turn our faces around towards the door, and we say "Boi b'shalom, boi kala, boi kala." All right. So
This
the
is the
question,
first mention of Kabbalah Shabbos, I guess, technically, with the Mizmarim before and the Chadod.
yeah, it has earlier sources, but yeah,
Sources, but I think first time, it's not in the Shulchan Aruch, is it?
no, we did not see it. The question becomes doing the boi chala in a place where you weren't davening east to begin with. Is it a vort in the door, or is it in opposite of is it in opposite direction of where the Beis Hamikdash used to be? That's really the shayla that it comes to. And also, like in this shul, you have seats that are in pretty much every single direction here. So how does the turning around there work? All right. Some people, they went out to the courtyards, they went out to the fields. We don't know of this. What we know of is what we just said. We do it at the end of the lecha dodi. Lots of Torah shiarba. Good trivia question. How many tunes are there for lecha dodi? The answer is
Many.
there's no set amount. Yeah, it just keeps going. Because of Torah shiarba v'aser v'yayin McDonald's kivi yachloch v'karmam l'kavahim b'gufin v'kavahim l'chiv v'shar harzim v'shuba chamash v'lahedi b'gitin shtatim v'samin tzasos machlokes v'beis. Okay, now this is important. This is an incredibly important line. From the Gemara and Gittin Nun Beis, you have to look up that Gemara. I'm not sure exactly what it's referring to, but the Gemara in Gittin says it's implied from that Gemara that the Satan tries to the best of his abilities to create a machlokes in the house eriv Shabbos, and therefore we have to be very, very careful about this. To be no machlokes at all. We're going to see more about machlokes on Shabbos. Kopanim, this is the Aruch Hashulchan. I thought that it was definitely worthwhile to learn through this, the entire thing. I mean, just look at the amount that we just highlighted over here. Come out the whole thing. So there are definitely a lot of important insights in here, and therefore I thought that it was definitely worthwhile to go through. Okay, with the remaining time that we have, let's take a look at. Oh, whoops. I just did the wrong thing. Okay, with the remaining time that we have, let's take a look at the Shari Tshuva. That's what we're going to do. The Shari Tshuva, this is, you have to get Aleph.
How much
Okay.
earlier did the Bereit and the Shari Tshuva come out before the Mishnah Berurah?
I think around 100 years.
Because they are in the Shulchan Aruch.
What?
I mean, they're in the Shulchan Aruch,
Yeah, the berachos and the Shari Tshuva they basically are a kitzer of the Magen Avraham and the Taz. They give a shortened version of what the Magen Avraham and the Taz say, and sometimes other poskim. The Shari Tshuva is a little different. He quotes a lot of Tshuvas, which other Mefarshim don't quote. He had access to a lot of Svarim, apparently. And that's his story. Oh yeah. Commentary was written according to Wikipedia, which could very well be wrong, but this seems to be right. 1743. So
150 years.
150 years. I said 100. So that's the berachos.
So the Mishnah Berurah knew about them, and he.
Shari Tshuva is going to be harder because it's the Rabbeinu Yonah Shari Tshuva.
Right.
But it was around that time. If I'm not mistaken, it was around that time. Okay, so let's take a look at this. The Mishnah Berurah had it, for sure. The question becomes when the Mishnah Berurah doesn't quote something that the Shari Tshuva does, why not? There's a few places where that happens, like big halachas. So what on earth does the Mishnah Berurah hold? I could say one halacha off the top of my head by Hilchos Kaddish. The berachos, if I'm not mistaken, Siman Nun Vav. There's a recording on we did it. Says not to walk in front of someone who's saying Kaddish, similar to Shmona Esrei. Don't walk in front of someone saying Shmona Esrei, Siman Kov Beis. Should the sugis in the Gemara. So the Mishnah Berurah doesn't quote that also. Interesting, right? So let's take a look at the Shari Tshuva Beis first in the beginning. I am berachos, I am a machzik berachos shekasav. Okay, fine. This is talking about Seichel Mashalom. We already learned about this a little bit, the Seichel Mashalom business. Here, the berachos also, a lot of the Shari Tshuva, a lot of times they look at the berachos. Take a look at this fascinating Shari Tshuva. The opening Shari Tshuva. Hanachon L'saken ekol meplaga mincha koidem ksas, o achar kach ksas. V'loy biyom hashisha b'boker lo yiserev. King kos b'shari kines gadol. Look at that shari kines gadol over there. He said it's correct. Everything that we're talking about, setting the table, sweeping the house, making sure the chairs are ready, your bed's ready, etc. Everything we're talking about should be done from Plaga Mincha, a little bit before, a couple hours before Shabbos, or afterwards a little bit. Not on the morning of Shabbos morning, and not very close to Shabbos.
Like right in the middle. Like
Plaga Mincha, right? So if we pull out a Zmanim sheet, so Plaga Mincha, what is this? Berachos. Okay, so Noach. So we're going to be Noach. So Plaga Mincha is going to be 3:39, 3:40, let's say. All right, and Shabbos starts 5. Shabbos is going to start.
4:30.
Oh, sorry, we just had Noach. Sorry, lecha. 3:39. My fault. 3:39. Shabbos is going to start 4:25. Sorry, my fault. I'm making a mistake for a minute.
Whoa.
So you're talking about around an hour, 40 minutes before Shabbos, an hour 45. So look, the obvious question in the Shari Tshuva is, what is going on? Why can't you do it earlier? If anything, it's reason Magdiman. You have to do it exactly then. We understand not to do it last minute before Shabbos. You don't want to come Chas v'Shalom to Chilul Shabbos to go in late. But why so before? What's the hezber there? So the truth is, we're gonna do more of a deep dive on this as we continue. But the Oz V'Hadar Mishnah Brura in footnote Zion will address this. He's going to quote this idea. And in footnote Zion, he's going to say, he's going to quote this Shari Knesset Gdol Shenach L'Tachan Abai Yisam L'Cher V'Lo Yibok V'Hoytzi B'Yach Yosh V'Shach Gam Shol L'Achir Tikun Ha'Matzos Ha'Shabbos V'Yikol L'Tachan Ha'Kol B'Yom Shishin L'Plaga Mincha O'Ksas Mikon O'Ksas Milcher. Who would over Shari Tshuva? Shari Tshuva brings this. Chen Gos B'Chai Adam also L'Chai Adam apparently brings this. Ulam HaToyros Chaim Tama. Toyros Chaim says, what are you talking about? Shari Avkir. Excuse me. Even when you're doing this from the morning, it's recognizable that you're doing this for Kavod Shabbos. You're going to find that your table is set. Says when you come home from shul. What's the difference if it's set from the morning or not? At the end of the day, you want your table to be set. So therefore, you could do it from the morning. So this Shita is a very interesting Shita to do it by the Plaga Mincha time. We're going to see more about this Amir Hashem also of Harfinus in his Shalos Jew with Nishma Shabbos. Chilak Avsim and Reish Samach Hey is also going to deal with this as well. So this is the Shari Tshuva, very interesting Shari Tshuva. All right, so Mirza Hashem, tomorrow we will begin the Mishnah Bruras on the Siman. Everyone should have a wonderful day. Bruchim to you. Yeah.
A pleasant day. Okay, so wow, we covered a lot.
What'd you say? Can't hear you.
All right.
Covered a lot today.
Thanks, brother.
Oh yeah, we learned a lot today. That's right. I have a wonderful day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have
All right, have a good day.
a good day.